Hey y'all, what's up? This is Dartman. Welcome back to Fixing to Fish, and today I'm revisiting the Deeper Pro Plus. I've previously did a video on this, and a lot of people have asked me why they don't see me using this more often. And for me, I use this mainly certain times of year at certain conditions. I don't use this every time I go out. And where it really shines with the holiday season coming up, the winter is actually when I like to use this the most, all the way up until early spring. When the fish move, they transition from being shallow in the fall into the deeper water for the winter. This is a great time to use this device. I don't really need it any other time of the year because in the summer, they're usually wherever it's shady and cool. In the fall, they move up shallow, and in the spring, they also move into shallow water. So, not really the time of year that I use this. It's also useful in the summer on big impoundments where when it's hot, a lot of times some of the bigger fish will move into deeper water to stay cool. So today we're gonna give it a shot, and I'm just going to show you how I use it, or would use it if it was winter. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on and give some tips and basically demo it and see if we can catch a fish using this to target a specific location. Alright, so I got my deeper tied on. I have 20-pound braid to a clip going to the deeper unit. If you're not good with bait casters, if you tend to get a lot of backlashes, you may want to switch to using braid on a spinning rod, because when you backlash, a lot of times the braid will pull, the knot will pull out, and your deeper will go flying off, especially if you're using a clip. I've noticed knots tend to go out, slip worse with clips, but it can happen even if you tie directly on. If you're using a really light braid, you might want to use a double Palomar knot as opposed to a single Palomar knot, just because you're gonna less likely of pulling that knot out. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this out. Make sure you get a stout rod. Don't throw it on a really light rod because you can break your tip, and do kind of a lob cast. So I'm gonna go ahead. As you can tell, it's not a very subtle entry by any means. So once the deeper has hit the water, it'll start sending out a signal, and that is when you're going to pick up the Wi-Fi signal on your phone. Oh no. So it's been a while since I used this, so it's updating itself online. I would definitely check this before you go out. It's been a while since I used this, so it seems to be a pretty quick update. But I'm already getting a temperature reading of about 73 degrees for the water. And we should be getting a scan signal at this point. Alright, so we haven't seen any fish yet. One of my main quirks about fishing with this thing is I don't have a holder for my rod. That really makes things easier. They make a holder that will hold it like that. A little nervous about casting with it, but you can definitely see that there's some bottom contour. There's a little drop off right there. Still not seeing any fish. It might be because they're up shallow, so I'm going to recast and see what this deeper patch of water over here is. I believe this is the deep end of the pond. Alright, so we got some fish right there on the bottom, it looks like. And we're gonna try to target right where that deeper's at. believe the cone that this thing puts out is about 15 feet wide. So just try to mentally visualize about where 15 feet is. It's really hard to tell. Got a bite. Had a bite. So there was definitely fish near that deeper unit. So it looks like those fish moved off from where that deeper was. They were there, now they're gone. So let's recast and see if we can find another bunch of them. The one thing I noticed about this deeper is that when you lay it down, it tends to lose connection. So if you're in a kayak and you put your phone down low, it tends to lose connection with the deeper. Or if you lay it on the ground like I just did, it just disconnected. Saying it's too shallow. As you'll notice, this is why I tend not to use this for like little ponds, because when it's too shallow, it just doesn't work. It can be very frustrating. It's mainly why I use it on bigger places like big lakes and things like that, and kayaks. A little pond like this is it's really difficult. For the longest, all right, we got a fish right near that deeper. Got a whole bunch of fish right there in that 15-foot cone. You just saw a fish jump right next to that deeper. They're right up against the shore. For some reason that cut out. Okay. So you can see it cut out because it's lower. And then when I'm holding it here, the signal just cuts out. I'm probably not making a good case for this, but I think it's a realistic display of what it's like to use one off a bank or something. And I haven't done any videos with it using a kayak, but that's mainly because even though I have a kayak, I have some health problems that make it kind of difficult for me to use a kayak and mostly transporting it, setting it up, things like that. But again, this is mainly, like I was saying, if this is the type of fishing you want to use it for, by all means you can use it. Do I think it's the best use of this device? Probably not. You know, if you're somebody that fishes little ponds, you can cover a lot more water without doing it this way. Well, that was going to end it for me. It got too dark out and I had to head home. And really, I did try to catch a fish using deeper to target the fish. But like I said, in the warmer times of the month, especially where I live now, the fish are moving around. They're very active, and the deeper isn't going to be very effective for active moving fish. You know, dead of summer when they're all schooled up deep, holding on to transition, or even in the winter when they're hugging the bottom and trying to stay warm, that's probably where this device would really shine. And it does work very well. As you can tell from the video, I did get a bite right next to the unit, and you did see a fish jump next to the unit when it was floating on the water. So you know that it is marking fish, and it does what it says. My issues with the unit, more than anything else, are more due to my phone, and that really makes it tough. As I mentioned, they make a mount for your reel, and it sits right in front of your reel. So it would be right about where the triumph symbol is. It's a phone holder, and from what I've read, it works pretty well. But even still, say you tie your deeper on, you put your phone on, you cast out, you're looking at the screen, you put your rod down with the deeper on it to go get your rod to cast with, and you may lose connection with the deeper when you put that rod down. So what deeper needs to make to really make this really work better for a bank fisherman is to make a hands-free neck holder. And like I was saying a few videos back, I wanted to adapt a harmonica holder to go around your neck. It's adjustable. You can have it sort of like right about here and not have to worry about putting it down. You can always keep your eyes on the screen. Deeper hasn't made a holder like that, but they really need to, because number one, I don't trust putting a cell phone on a rod. It just sounds like a bad idea. I don't care how well it works. I just don't like that idea. And even if it does work, you're going to have to put that rod down and put it on the ground and lose connection. So that makes it a little unwieldy for me. And even in a kayak, I've had connection loss by putting it in my lap while sitting in a kayak. So there needs to be a better way to have your phone visible. You don't want to lose connection. You really don't want to take your eyes off the screen, because a lot of times the fish will move off even if your deeper is not moving. And by the time you pick up your phone and look at it, the fish aren't there anymore. So there just needs to be a better way for that. But as far as the deeper unit itself, it works very well. It does everything it says it does. There's just that little issue. And once, hopefully I was kind of hoping they would already have come out with this since I purchased the deeper, that they would come up with a better hands-free kind of mount, or even like a lariat mount or something. But they haven't. So I feel like I'm going to have to come up with my own solution for this. And I may feature that in a later video. These are just things you should be aware of if you're going to use it. It's a lot easier on a kayak, on a bendy arm. You don't have to use another rod. And if you do put it down, you have a better chance of keeping your signal just because you can put it in your lap. You do have to watch your phone from getting wet when you're paddling and stuff. And, they do make phone mounts for kayaks, so that might be a solution too. But anyway, I thought everybody might find this interesting on just using the unit in a normal way. Some people may have a better system than I do for using it. That's just how I'm using it. And I feel like that's probably pretty typical of most users. So these are things you might want to consider before you pick one up. But as far as the product itself, it functions very well. It does what it says. Most of the problems are on the phone end of things. So there you go. Hope you all enjoy watching. I'll catch you next time.